The lions are stalking the buffalo herds, wanting to hunt them before they migrate. The buffaloes are fat and strong. They come in herds, and their sharp horns are their deadly weapon. When the lions meet the buffalo, there is sure to be a fierce battle. A male lion, in a confrontation with the buffalo, takes the lead and kills his way out first. The buffaloes were so disorganized that they fled in all directions. At this point, the lions circle around, trying to find the old, sick, and weak buffalo and deal them a fatal blow. At this point, a lioness seizes the opportunity and launches a surprise attack, locking a calf in the throat. But never expected, the buffalo erupted, without any hesitation. Aback, the horn on the lioness, like a dagger into the lioness, left and right. The bulls on the sidelines cover the ground, pounding the rest of the lion pride so that the badly injured lioness cannot be rescued. A hunting battle between the lions and the buffalo turned into the killing of the lions by the buffalo. However, the lions did not abandon the lioness, but it did not work. Instead, the lioness was breathing weakly and not moving. Seeing that heavy rain was coming and the area was about to turn into an ocean, the lions had no choice but to leave. Although the buffalo seriously injured the lioness, she was unable to kill it. It may seem that she is to blame, but the reality is not so. The lioness is also trying to feed her children, and the two cubs are in the bush. But now, she is a burden to them. Botswana is a swampy place. Here, the lions navigate the water in search of prey. The swamps are infested with crocodiles, and the lions are careful to keep an eye on their surroundings. It's a long trek until a herd of buffalo is sighted. Buffalo are the main prey of this pride. Because in the swamp, antelopes and long-legged zebras can easily outrun the lions. The buffalo, on the other hand, are slower and better suited to lion roundups. The buffalo, who appears to be bulky but has sharp horns and a hard body, has killed numerous lions. So, the battle between lions and buffalo is a fight to the death for the buffalo. For the lions, it is equally desperate. The lions are out in full force, constantly pulling the buffalo, which are, after all, herbivores. They're demoralized after a few tussles. They fled, but adult buffaloes are hard to hunt, even if they are single-handed. The lioness seized the opportunity to tackle the calf, but the buffalo's mother found it in time to resist. The other members of the lion pride, because of the presence of the bulls, could not come to help. They watched as the buffalo beat the lioness. Without a moment's notice, the lioness was already bruised and dying. The members of the pride did not throw stones but waited patiently for the lioness to recover from her injuries. But after several days, the lioness did not show any signs of recovery. Lying there motionless, she appeared to have a breath of air, but it was just a lingering breath. Seeing that the rainy season was approaching and the swamp was about to turn into an ocean, the lions had no choice but to leave. The lioness was left lying on the ground, alone and at the mercy of God. Lightning flashes and thunder roars, and torrential rain pours down. The water level of the river continued to rise, overflowing half of the grassland. At that moment, the lioness suddenly opened her eyes, and she didn't die because she wasn't alone. There were still her two children deep in the grass. The rainstorm had washed away the entire grassland, but it stimulated the lioness and gave her hope for life. It was a very different environment from the one he had been in when he was in a coma, and there were floods everywhere. It was like a lifetime ago. The lioness hissed loudly and called out to the other lions, but there was no response to her roar as it drifted across the grasslands. The lioness can only drag her sick and broken body through the shallow water. It has been too long, and she needs to find her baby as soon as possible. Now that the river is flooded with crocodiles, which are almost everywhere, she must swim through deeper water to find her cubs. The lioness all but ignores the danger and makes her way to the vicinity of the den. Luckily, her two cubs were fine. The lioness picks up the cubs and takes them to safety. Although the cubs were alive, the children were already hungry. The problem was that the lioness herself had wounds on her body and was surrounded by floodwaters, which cut off the lioness even more from finding her pride. However, there is the added benefit of the lioness's injured leg, walking in the water, and being able to use buoyancy to alleviate the pain. Even so, the antelope's long legs and good bouncing ability make it difficult for the lionesses to catch up with them, dragging their injured forelegs. The lioness prowls the water, looking for a chance to hunt. Standing tall and seeing far, Carly stood over the termite nest and didn't even find anything to hunt for. Instead, she saw an unfamiliar pride of lions coming to the area. Due to the flooding, the boundaries of the lions' territories have become blurred, and it is easy for conflicts to break out between the lions, not to mention the fact that the lioness is now on her own and has 2 cubs with her. Not daring to think about it, the lioness quickly hid herself away from the strange pride. The newcomers didn't notice the lioness. They were crossing the river as a group. The river was wide and deep and frequented by crocodiles. The lions were also nervous and put all their energy into watching for crocodiles. It was hard to reach the bank. Only then did the lions relax, run, and play. The king of the lions followed behind. Even the crocodile would be afraid of it before attacking. Just after reaching the other bank, the lions locked onto the antelope and chased it in a hurry. The antelope's intelligence was a cause for anxiety, as it ran through the water without crossing the river, which was very exhausting. The lions, on the other hand, chased the antelope on the bank, not only much easier but also having the advantage of speed. Sure enough, the antelope immediately fails and slows down, and the lion jumps up and bites right into it. The other lions also rushed over to the antelope, drooling over it. Suddenly, the Lion King rushed over. The other lions, how dare they be in the vicinity, had withdrawn, so that the Lion King alone could eat. The Lion King was not invincible and chose to pick up the antelope and head for safety. The other lions could not do anything about the Lion King. They could only watch the Lion King eating the meat and waiting for the leftovers to be picked up. On the other side, the lioness gradually recovered from some of her injuries. It didn't have any bone grafts, so the fractured part of its front leg had obviously grown crooked. Although lame, it could barely walk. He sniffed hard, the scent of herbivores wafting through the air. Everyone had their ups and downs, and it was important to grasp the moment. The lioness certainly wasn't going to be discouraged by this sort of thing. She had her own plans. Searching for the scent, she searched for something near the bushes. Could it be that her child was lost? The lioness did not call out, nor was she in a hurry. It had been too long since it had eaten meat, and the lioness dreamed of a successful hunt. Now it wasn't it that was chasing the herbivore, but the herbivore was chasing him. The lioness had wandered long enough to let all the herbivores here know that he was a lame lion, tauntingly following Carly. What was once a daunting predator is now a loser in the eyes of the herbivores. So don't get too complacent when you're successful. With that, the lioness wrapped her feet and walked around the bush. Suddenly, there was a movement in the bush ahead, and Carly rushed over to see if a baby antelope was hiding in it. The lioness's patience is rewarded. This is the peak birthing season for antelope herds, and because antelope cubs are too slow to run, the mother's strategy is to hide their babies. The lioness, aware of her injuries, has difficulty pursuing her prey. Yet it is still smart. Facing taunts without arrogance, she succeeds in getting the meat. The antelope in the distance watched in disbelief and suffered inwardly. Despite being very hungry, the lioness did not eat it straight away, but brought the baby antelope to the lion cubs. The lion cubs are old enough to eat meat, and they must be allowed to eat first. So even the motherly love of a lion can shine through with selflessness. The meat is not much, but the lion cubs are able to eat their fill. After that, there is little left for Carly. To survive, hunting is a hurdle that must be crossed. The lioness continues to prowl along the dive with her cubs, accurately judging the antelope's escape route. The moment the antelope is about to get away, she takes it down and successfully hunts the adult antelope, which is enough to feed the mother's family for a long time. So, in a seemingly desperate situation, the lioness survived a little bit and did something almost impossible. And how can we as human beings fail and give up when we face difficulties?